Hello and welcome to Growing Your Consulting Business Through Analytics. Brought to you by your great friends at the Association of Philanthropic Counsel and Fundraising Report Card. My name is Dan Doyle. I am the Chief Evangelist here at Fundraising Report Card. I've been in the business for over 30 years. I was the CEO and principal owner of a fundraising agency, Mel Warwick Donor Digital. And I'm going to share a little bit of my personal experiences in growing that business through analytics and some of what I've learned from a lot of the clients, the consulting clients at Fundraising Report Card. So here's a little bit about me. At your leisure, you can take a peek at my story. All right, for today, let's jump right into it. We're going to talk about analytics as a key differentiator for consultants and consulting agencies. A bit of a philosophical conversation about why it has its rightful place at the table, along with the far more interesting and exciting creative. But today, we're talking about analytics. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about selling the sizzle and the steak of analytics. You really have to have both. We're going to talk about the best uses of analysis to grow your business. We're going to talk about generating new business for your business, your consulting firm. We're going to talk about solidifying ongoing business with your current clients and how you can do that. We're also going to talk about how you can cross-sell new services, provide more and better services to your current clients. And finally, we're going to talk about how you can charge more. How can you strengthen your bottom line through charging for analytics, either more or charging in the beginning. And then we're going to have a little bit of analytics swag. It's not Oscar-worthy swag by any means, but it's what we do in analytics. So we'll offer a little bit at the end of the session today. All right, before we start, ask yourself a couple questions. Are you happy with your current analytics services and reports? Are your clients happy? Why or why not? Would you benefit from a new look and feel to your analytics? Do they sing? I talk about analytics singing. Why or why not? Are you confident in your analytic capabilities? Do you think you need other people and partners at the table? It's actually a service that we offer at Fundraising Report Card. The consultants who use our white label product have us as an extension of their team. Do you need additional analytic capabilities? And have you ever used analytics to generate new business? If not, why not? All right. This is sort of the foundational piece, why I think analytics is a key differentiator for consultants and consulting firms. First, we all know that knowing more about a donor file is always better than knowing less about a file. We also know from reading all the books on fundraising that in order of importance, list is number one, followed by offer, then created. 50% or more of success in fundraising is the list, who you are talking to, who you are fundraising to, then the offer, and then finally, creative. Finally, analytics is an often overlooked opportunity with clients and consultants. It represents an opportunity to provide new and better services. It provides an opportunity to become more valuable as a consultant. It represents an opportunity to make a bigger impact on the client program. So I'll pose to you that it's often an overlooked opportunity with consultants. It sort of falls a very distant second or third in terms of other things that consultants do with their clients. I know it falls well below creative, but I would pose to you that your competition is likely not delivering high impact analytics on a regular basis to their current clients. And that if you do, you're going to be one step ahead of them. So I think this is a great opportunity for you to energize your analytic and reporting capabilities and to make it a key differentiator of why people would hire you, why they would stay with you, and why they may even pay you more as a consultant. Okay, here's a little bit of selling the sizzle and the steak. You know, when we're in creative mode with our clients, we definitely have our marketing hat on. But we never have it on when we speak about analytics and reporting to our clients. I would pose to you, you should have your marketing hat on when you're talking to your clients about analytics and their program. You should make your presentation sing. Creative isn't the only one at the table. Analytics is here. Make it sing. It needs to be understandable, impactful, and actionable. You know, forget reporting only rows and columns of boring data. You might have that at the table. You're more likely to do that back at the office. But those days of reams and reams of paper of boring rows and columns are over. Data visualization is a great tool to make things understandable, impactful, and actionable. And in that regard, think about speaking to these two audiences: the analytic types who want to know more about the numbers and dig into it, and the creative types who need to hear the story that's being told, what the data story is for their organization. So I'll tell you here that I suspect your client did not get to their position because they love analytics. That wasn't their expertise. They were probably great with raising money, good with people, and they loved the organization's mission. Meet them where they are. That's a little bit about selling the Sizzle. The steak is for those who love analytics, but meet them where they are, your client. Here's a great example. This comes out of Fundraising Report Card itself. On the left, I don't have to tell you, that's the Sizzle. And on the right is the steak. I think they have a rightful place, both of them at the table. I suspect most of your clients are on the left-hand side. They want to see the Sizzle. They want to hear the data story you can share with them. And this story is easy to share. This organization is upgrading more donors year over year over year. That's wonderful. And in the tool set we have, you can actually export those donors and get the state, which is the actual donors and their upgrade amount. So I think they both have a rightful place at the table as a consultant. Think about your audience. What are you trying to get them to do? Understand upgrading in this particular case. I would say the left-hand side, the visualization of the stake, actually tells the story and gets them focused on that. And sort of as a background FYI, visual thinking is common in approximately 60 to 65% of the population. So it's quite likely that the people you were speaking to think visually. I think it's actually even higher in fundraising because most of the people in fundraising are predisposed not to be analytic types. So use data visualization to help tell the story of their fundraising program. So let's talk a little bit about how you can generate new business for your organization, how you can solidify ongoing business, how you can cross-sell new services, and finally, how you can charge more for your services. Those are the four components of how analytics can help strengthen your consulting work. Okay, number one, generate new business. I've been in this field for 30 years on the client side and on the nonprofit side, and also on the owning a consulting agency and now consulting with consultants across the country. The number one way I hear again and again from our about 24 plus consultants who use the white label product at Fundraising Report Card is they offer free donor file assessments to get their foot in the door. And I've actually seen this from competitors when I own my own agency. And they don't have to be complicated. And let's talk a little bit about how you can get those done. It's a great way to introduce new analytic capabilities to the world, prospective clients. It's also a great way to ask for referrals. We also know that good analysis leads to great questions about a program, and that dialogue with the prospective client can solidify the business. I don't believe these have to take a lot of time or money to conduct. The tools that are available now to produce and conduct donor file assessments are inexpensive, they're fast, and they allow you to get in front of a prospective client very, very quickly. The days of it taking a week to do a donor file assessment are over. You can, within a couple hours in Fundraising Report Card, actually generate a donor file assessment and hand it off to a prospective client to share your knowledge and their data story within a couple hours of the business day. I suggest you keep these assessments at a high level so you can deliver them quickly. I think you should also keep them at a high level so you don't get lost in the data weed. The devil in the detail can really hinder the opportunity to sell your consulting firm. So I think you should keep these donor file assessments very high level. You're quite likely to identify a problem area, and that's going to be the sales piece of your business. Delivering the solution, what you're going to do about it is the service piece, and you'll get paid for that. So on the front end, your investment is identifying problems or challenges, and that's where you're going to be putting your marketing hat and delivering sales. I will tell you that you're going to do one of two things, I think, quite likely when you deliver these assessments. You're either going to share something they already knew, and that's why they need to hire you today, because they have a problem or challenge, or you're going to share something they didn't know was a problem. And you're going to help them identify something new that needs to be addressed, a challenge or an untapped opportunity in their program. And in that, you're going to look smart. So either way, no matter what you bring to the table, you're going to look like someone they need to be working with. Maybe you've done something else, but I'll tell you 99% of the fundraising report card consultant clients and 99% of what I did when I owned my agency was free donor file assessments, very high level assessments to help tell a data story to a prospective client. But maybe you've done other things. All right, let's talk about solidifying ongoing business. So we just talked a little bit about how you can generate new business and find new clients. Let's talk about how analytics can actually help you strengthen your existing business, because we all know keeping a current client is a lot easier than finding a new client. So hopefully you're offering new, better, and different analytics. So it's a new product and service for you. So I pose to you, if you sort of redouble your effort in analytics and you productize it, you will be able to deliver something new and different as a product or service to your client. New and different is always good, especially with ongoing clients where you might have fallen into the analytic doldrums, the data doldrums. If you strengthen your analytic services and your offering, it's going to make you stickier as a consultant, especially if they're looking at other options. Analytics can be a great reason or excuse to get in front of your client, and we always know being in front of a client strengthens that relationship, whether it's online and you do a webinar to walk them through some findings, or you're literally across the table from them. Don't think that creative is the only reason or production is the only reason that you need to be in front of your client. Oftentimes, you can use analytics on a more regular basis as a consultant or a consulting agency to get in front of your client and strengthen your relationship. I would pose to you that you really should be moving from annual assessments to semi-annual assessments to quarterly analysis to strengthen your working relationship. If you're not doing annual assessments, shame on you, you really need to be doing them. But I think you should move up the ladder in terms of your analytic engagement. I would challenge you that if you're doing them annually, that's great. It's quite likely taking place after their fiscal year, so it's old information, which is why you should be at least doing them semi-annual, sort of at a mid-year check-in. The most successful consulting firms, the ones with the strongest relationships and kind of pulse of their client, are those that are doing them quarterly. I know our tools at Fundraising Report Card actually help nonprofits and their consulting firms analyze their program and see their data story visually on a much more frequent basis, a lot easier and a lot less expensive. So maybe you also need to leverage analytic partners to co-present as an extension of your team. You need someone to be the good housekeeping seal of approval. I know we provide that to our consultant partners. And when I had my agency, I also leveraged outside analytic partners to help be an extension of my team and to sort of give me additional bandwidth. So I think one way you can solidify the relationship with existing clients is that you can bring new team members to the table. You don't have to hire them. They can be extensions of your team. They don't have to be full-time people like we provide at Fundraising Report Card with our consulting clients, because we're an extension of their team. And I found that to be a really good tool when I owned my agency. Maybe you've done some other things, but I've given you sort of 5 different ways in which you can solidify your ongoing business with your current client. Again, keeping an existing client happy is better and easier than finding a new client. All right, let's talk about how you can cross-sell new services to your current clients. It's a great way to strengthen your bottom line as a fundraising consultant. It's also a great way to have a stronger, deeper relationship. I found that you can use analytics to find pockets of opportunity in a client program that are outside of your current engagement. Here's sort of the top ones I've heard from consultants over my many years about what they do to kind of grow their existing business. And some of these may make a lot of sense to you. Maybe you're doing some of them already. Some of them may be new to you, so take notes. Major giving, if you're only running the annual fund. If you're sort of the consultant who runs the annual fund, maybe there's an opportunity through analytics to help them see how you could be a valuable partner higher up in the food chain, up the ladder in their fundraising program into major giving. And frankly, vice versa. If you're just doing major giving fundraising consulting, maybe there's a way you could be engaged in their annual fund by doing analysis and showing them where there are opportunities that are being missed or challenges that they need to double down on. So think about where you currently are positioned with your client and how you can pivot that. Maybe you can help them with their mid-marketing strategies to bridge between the low dollar and the high dollar fundraising. When I had a direct response firm, that was the next step for us. We often were not a good solution for high dollar fundraising, major giving and plan giving. But what we could do is help them better understand how to bridge low dollar fundraising and high dollar fundraising, because the major giving officers weren't doing as good a job of that we could. And if we were locked just in the low dollar fundraising, we were not being able to provide additional value to the consultants. So I think about ways in which you can bridge. If you're only doing the high dollar work, think about how you could offer mid-marketing strategies if they have a low dollar fundraising agency they're with. New donor welcome series. Oftentimes what we find when we do high level assessments of a program is they often have retention problems. It's one aspect, either new donors or current donors. It's often new donors, and that's because they don't actually have a very good welcome series. So we often sold welcome series consultation and engagement to help strengthen and improve the retention rate of those most important new donors who come onto a program. Lapsed donor reactivation on the other side, individuals who are lapsing off the program. We had a whole series of lapsed donor reactivation products that we were able to sell to our clients and engage them with. And we use long-term donor value analysis to support this work. At Fundraising Report Card, we actually have a LTV, donor lifetime value analysis tool set that our consulting clients can use to assess what additional value there is on the table for anyone who's lapsing out of the program. And it's super powerful to let clients know that it's not just a $5,000 donor they're losing when they lapse. It's all of the additional revenue from that person. So it could be $50,000. Donor upgrading and stewardship calls. I had an individual that we retained at our agency on a contract basis where she just did donor stewardship and upgrading calls for the organization. She didn't ever ask for money, so she didn't have to be a professional fundraising consultant, but she did stewardship calls and she talked to donors about upgrading. That's a great way to be engaged, and you can sort of turn it on and turn it off as a consultant. Maybe you've done some other things to cross-sell new services to clients based on analytics. But I think if you think long and hard, maybe one of these 5 have a rightful place at your consulting firm to strengthen the business and grow your sort of piece of the pie with your current client. All right, moving on. Let's talk about charging more for your services. It's hard to do, I know, to talk with clients about charging more, and it certainly isn't the first thing that we think of as those of us who are in the fundraising consulting business. But I really believe that if you grow your business, you're able to grow and improve your client work. So charging appropriately, which often means charging more, is important. And I do think analytics can be a backbone and a great opportunity to charge more for your consulting services. Here are the top 3 that I have used myself that I know you can implement if you aren't already. Number 1, increase or add an analytic fee for your services with the new contract. Now, this is predicated on the fact that you're bringing something new and different to the table. We know new consulting clients at Fundraising Report Card can then offer all the tools that we have to their clients, which becomes a conversation around increasing, or if they haven't had it in the past, adding an analytic fee to their services when they have a new contract. Oftentimes they announce these new products and services that they get on Fundraising Report Card 6 months in advance of the new contract. And then as they move into contract negotiations, they're able to say, well, we're bringing all these new reporting and tools and analytic tools to the table to strengthen your program. Here's the analytic fee moving forward for the coming year. So think about increasing or adding an analytic fee for your services. If you're sort of a one-size-fits-all retainer, you might have retainer plus approach. The second thing that I've done is I've created a pick list of analytic products and services that clients can pay for. So let's say you do an annual assessment. Maybe you offer to them quarterly assessments that cost X, $250 or $500 for you to deliver quarterly assessments of the program. or they get annual growth reports from you on a quarterly basis. But if they'd like lifetime donor value reports, it's Y, and so you can charge for that. So think of all the different sort of analytics and reporting that you could deliver to them. Give some for free on the front end. Like obviously you give them an annual program assessment and audit, but then suggest to them that there are additional audits and services that you can offer, reporting and analysis, that are available for individual purchase. We did that a lot, and we found that clients really wanted to see extra analysis at the table and were willing to pay for it. Some of them won't, and maybe you have to offer the first set for free and then charge down the road. We often did this with clients that were resistant to paying more. We sort of offered them the most impactful and juiciest analytics and reporting, really helped them see how important it was for them to understand and for us to understand their program. And once they sort of got hooked on that, we told them, we needed to charge. So we gave it to them for free, and we're very upfront and very transparent about the costs associated with this. And we oftentimes invoiced them and zeroed out the invoice. So if it was a $1,250 assessment, we would send them an invoice for $1,250, and then we would write it down to zero. So they would see for 3 quarters that we weren't charging. And then the 4th quarter, we'd say, we'd like to continue doing this, but we have to charge $1,250. And then we might negotiate the fee. So these are the 3 ways that I personally have used myself to grow the analytic D category of my consulting agency. And I know I hear from many, many, many of our consulting clients at Fundraising Report Card that they use these, at least 1 or 2, possibly even all 3. Maybe you've done something different in the past yourself. Think about that, bringing that back to the table. Okay, so we're wrapping up here. This has been a nice, short and sweet webinar for you. I hope it's given you a lot of information. We talked about analytics as a key differentiator for consultants in their agencies, and it can be and should be. We talked about selling the sizzle and the steak. You've got to have both. Put your marketing hat on. Make sure your analysis and reporting sings. Don't make it the part where everyone falls asleep at your presentation. We've talked about the best use of analytics to grow your business, generating new business, using quick program assessments to uncover opportunities and challenges, solidifying your ongoing business, annual assessments, quarterly check-in, ad hoc analysis, delivering new and different analytics and reporting to strengthen and make you stickier as an agency. We've talked about cross-selling new services to your clients. Maybe you've got other ideas. We talked about how you can use analysis to uncover new opportunities and challenges in the program. And then finally, we talked about the difficult topic of charging more for your services. If you're delivering more and adding more value, you should be charging more, whether it's when the contract comes up for renewal or delivering more and offering it free for a while and adding a service fee later on. There's a lot of value in the analytics that you provide. All right, let's end on some analytics swag. I want to offer you 2 free things. The first is our ebook, Metrics That Matter. You can see the link there. We actually are recording this webinar, and so we'll send it to you, and you can click through. But we actually have an amazing book written by Zach Shefska. He was the principal architects, one of the principal architects, along with a great group of programmers here at Fundraising Report Card who build out all of our tools. And he wrote a great book, Metrics That Matter. It's a free download, so it's an ebook that you can download it for free. We also have a free podcast. I invite you to join that. It's fundraisingreportcard.com/podcast. And then also, we are offering a 10% discount to all APC members for the annual consultant version of Fundraising Report Card. So if you're interested in that, you can email me. And here's how you email me. You can reach me at ddoyle@Fundraising Report Card. If you'd like to continue this conversation and talk in private with me, I would welcome an email from you. And on that, I'd love to say thank you so much for joining us today for this presentation on building your consulting agency through analytics, presented to you by the Association of Philanthropic Counsel and Fundraising Report Card. Thanks so much and have a great day.